we've run the project here for 18 years, and we've gone from a situation where the first year I lived in Jamaica in 2004, every single turtle and every nest on the beach was robbed and killed by the locals. And they'd eat the turtles, cook the eggs up, or turn them into a punch that they believe is a Viagra. If the kids weren't here, I'd tell you how we stopped that, but not when the kids are here. And so basically, the first year that we actually got turtles that actually hatched was 2005. And we came down on the beach at night. Those of you old enough to remember Nokia phones with the little LED, they were going around their LED, and I had a 1 million candle watt flashlight and stood over there, lit it off. They all ran away. Not one got killed that year, which was great. Then what we didn't realise was they were coming back and digging up the eggs in the morning. So then it was like late nights, early morning, and that first year we saved 3 nests, then about 350 hatchlings out. Since then, it has grown. So the next year was 1,400, then it was 4,000, then 10,000. And 3 Mondays ago, we hit our 250,000th that we've let out. Okay? And they're all critically endangered hawksbills, which is the third one down. And basically, what people kill them for is the shell. When they talk about turtle shell, it's the shell of a hawksbill turtle. When you hold it up to the light, it's transparent, it's got all that lovely veining through it, but you have to kill them to get it, so it's not a good thing. Now if you own it, I'll arrest you and put you in prison for a year. If you fancy another year here, but with not subsidised accommodation, I can sort that for you without a problem. So basically, each year we've learnt different things. I'm from England, I was a head teacher, and basically knew nothing about turtles. Where I lived was the furthest from the sea that you can get in the UK. All right, didn't matter which way you go, it was 100 miles. Came here, and in 2004 we saw the tracks up the beach, went down, and my guys were saying, boss, it's a turtle. I was going, no, it's a quad biker, it's an ATV. And no, and anyway, we went down and they convinced me. But the groundsman for next door to my house was digging up the eggs to sell them. So being an ex-teacher, smacked him around the back of the head, wagged finger in his face, threatening with the boss of the sack. We put them back. 3 hours later, came and dug them up and sold them anyway. That year we lost everything, as I say. Now we're in a situation, if we don't hit 20,000 hatchlings going out, we're a bit upset, right? This year is a down year. We find that because the turtles don't come back every year, they came back second, third or fourth year, it gives you cycles, and this is a down year. We've only had 185 nests this year. We had 235 last year, and next year we expect will be about 260, 270. And it means that we're now overcrowded. So we now take nests from here and move them to other beaches so that we thin our population down, because when the turtles that we've got laying here go out, they're going to come back in 14 to 20 years' time, and we calculate that if we don't do something now, in 7 years, we'll have over 1,000 nests. And we can't cope. And in 25 years, we did that calculation, it could be 5,000 nests. So it would be ridiculous for this small beach, so therefore spread the load to other people, and it's really good. Now the thing that you need to know is that the turtles born here, they come back here to breed. Okay? So if you move the nest to another beach, they wake up there and go out there, they set their little GPS to that beach and go back to that beach. They don't come here. Okay? So that's how we thin them out and we move it, okay? Climate change is a real issue for us in the fact that turtles are sexed by temperature, not by chromosomes. So when it gets above 28.3 degrees, in the nest, they are all female. Below that, they're all male. Now, at this time of the year, when you get temperatures going up and down, you have this funny situation where the top of the nest is hotter than the bottom, so you get the cool guys underneath and the hot girls on top, right? Easy to remember that way. So basically, we do that sort of stuff, right? What do I do? Well, I don't do a great deal now. These guys over there do it. We're all game wardens, so we can arrest you and we can do stuff. We get about 6,000 people a year come to see turtles go out, right? And by and large, everybody that comes is really nice. I think we've had one drunk in about 4 years. Apart from that, that was fine. We dragged her out the bar, and it was a her as well. We've got records like this going back to 2007, and we see every false crawl, which is when a turtle comes up and doesn't lay, and every nest when they lay. Okay? When they lay, we protect the nests, and we monitor where they are. If the turtle lays them in a silly place, we move them either into our hatchery or another part of the beach that's safer. And effectively, what happens is you start off at the beginning of the year in April. We got our first one in 8th of April.
As in the first hatchling?
Yeah, the first nest that was laid, okay. We had 5 nests, and the yellow is false crawls. Then you get into March, but then business starts to really happen. June, July,
so warm months.
August, September, and then it tails off. It's tailed off more this year because what happens is turtles don't lay every year. They lay every 2nd, 3rd or 4th year. So when they come up, it's like circles. We usually get a good year, a really good year, then it drops a little bit. Mm-hmm. So basically, we keep a record of everyone that comes up, and then we keep a map of every single, as the nests come up, where they lay, how good they are. What we are doing is we're looking at working with Tufts University in Boston and the New England Aquarium to produce a first aid kit. So what we're looking to do in the next year is get the first aid kit working, but then work with New England Aquarium where they've got a rescue centre and try and get some vets over there to be trained, because we can't guarantee if they come down here to train vets that you've got the damaged turtles where they actually have them in tanks up there, so the training can take place. And then it's how do you then compensate the vets? If you take a turtle to a vet, who's going to pay for it? So what we're looking at doing is how can we set up a fund that will actually pay for that, but not the capital, not the money that comes in, but to get one of the financial institutions to actually invest it and then use the interest to pay for that so that it doesn't disappear, in one big chunk sort of thing. We work with Sandals very closely. Sandals Foundation are great to us. What happens is we tell Sandals or Island Reefs, their travel arm, their tourist bit, they then advertise it and then we get visitors come. Now, we never know quite how many are coming. Yesterday it was 59, it looked like about 20 today. There may be another coach coming from Ochi, but we don't know at the moment. When they get here, we spend about 10 minutes educating them really about turtles. Then we actually open up the nest. When we open up the nest, we show them what they look like when they come out covered in sand. We show them what they're like when they're washed. But the reason we do it is to make sure that the eyes are open, and where they've grown off the egg, their belly button has healed properly. And once that's the case, we then can release them knowing that they're 100% ready to go back. If they're not, we move them upstairs into the incubator, keep them in the incubator at 30 degrees for maybe a day or two, and then when we get the next nest, we put them in and they go out with those. When we release 2 hours before it gets dark, and the reason that we do that is because if you let them go out at night, naturally, you lose 30 to 40% just crossing the beach to crabs, mongoose, birds, whatever. When they're in the sea, here, we're a bay, and the bay gets very hot. So in the daytime, the big fish go to deeper water where it's cooler. So when you release them just before it gets dark, they've got the best possible chance of survival. Probably we might lose 2 or 3% of our nest, whereas at night you can lose up to 90%. And this is why only 1 egg in 1,000 becomes an adult. On our beach, the calculations from universities that have done look to what we do say we're better than 1 in 40. We only employ local people that are divers or fishermen. And they live in the community. When we first started, if they see somebody cooking turtle meat, or turtle soup, it's got a distinctive smell. So they sit around until it's cooked and then kick the pot over. When the person cooking the soup goes mad, they just walk up with their badge and say, well, that's a year in prison, $100,000 fine, so come on down to the police station. or you don't do it again. Nobody wants to buy turtle meat, so therefore nobody kills the turtles. And you've got to sort of break the chain that this is a profitable thing, and once you've done that, then people will actually start to see it for what it is, which is nature, an important part of the ecosystem, but also it's a big tourist thing.